Run it back, nation. What is good? It is your boy DJ. We're running back Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros. Tonight at 9 p.m. on PlaybackTV, we are looking at some recent Sixers games, breaking down the film and talking about it. And you can talk about it with me, and you can call into the show and all kinds of fun things on there on PlaybackTV. That is playback.tv/runnitbackphilly. That is the future. That is the Twitch of sports streaming. If you're not there now, you will be soon. Just come along. 9 o'clock tonight. Be there. Link is in the description. Let's get into the video. So I've been out of the loop for a couple days, man. And those of you that follow my Instagram page, you probably know why. Thank you for all of your very nice comments on that post. I appreciate you guys. You guys are very, very nice people. And it's nice to have a community of people that, you know, when maybe you're going through something, you can just kind of reach out and get some positive energy, man. I appreciate each and every one of you that threw me some positive energy. Anyway, let's get into the business, okay? The Sixers are rolling. The Celtics lost to the Rockets last night by a point. The Bucks went down to the wire with the Kings, but ultimately won. Chris Middleton came up huge. Brook Lopez came up huge, and then Brook Lopez and Trey Lyles choked each other out at the end of the game. That was entertaining. Shout out to the NBA. It's constant drama fest. What's not to love about it? It is the keeping up with the Kardashians for men. You know what I mean? And for women, if you watch the NBA. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying. Don't cancel me for that. All right? But my question today is, are the Sixers the best team in the NBA right now? Because when you really look at it, the Denver Nuggets have been getting smoked by bad teams recently because Nikola Jokic, although according to the advanced metrics, he's the best basketball player to ever walk the earth and probably the best athlete of all time, has been getting absolutely embarrassed and exposed on the defensive end of the floor, which we already knew was a thing. And it usually comes out when games start to matter more and teams really start to attack him in the paint. Teams that can really spread the floor and shoot the ball make it difficult for Nikola Jokic to play defense in the paint. So the Denver Nuggets have been struggling recently. Celtics have been struggling recently. The Bucks still look like a championship contender, but the Sixers are 2-3. Won 2 out of the 3 against the Bucks this season. So there's reason. You can make a case. You can make a case right now that the Philadelphia 76ers are the best team in the NBA. Just a couple of fun stats let's go over to really drive that point home, to really make that argument. Joel Embiid is averaging 33.4 points per game this season. The only other NBA players in history to average 33.4 points per game or more, Michael Jordan, James Harden, Kobe Bryant. That's it. That's it. No big men, no nothing. The only other players in NBA history to average more than 33.4 points per game, Michael Jordan, James Harden, Kobe Bryant. The level that Joel Embiid is scoring right now is completely insane. It is completely insane. And I could make this a 40-minute video, but when we saw Embiid, his rookie season, rehabbing that foot, and we saw that shot form, we got a glimpse of that shot form, and we said, oh, shit! This guy is 7 foot plus, 260, 270 pounds, and has the footwork of Kobe Bryant, the footwork of Hakeem Olajuwon, the turnaround fadeaway of literally Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. That's not an exaggeration. All these combinations of things, if he can get healthy, he can be completely unguardable in the NBA. We knew that from seeing it 8 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Joel Embiid is 100% completely unguardable in the NBA. Completely unguardable. There's nothing you can do about it. He just dropped, 39 points in 3 quarters the other night. It's insane what he's doing, okay? Let's move on. On top of Joel Embiid having yet another historic season, James Harden is averaging 22, 11, and 6 on 45, 40, and 85. He's shooting 40% from 3. He's averaging 11 assists per game. This will be James Harden's 5th 20 and 10 game, tying only 2 players in NBA history to have 5 games averaging 20 points and 10 assists, Russell Westbrook and Oscar Robertson. So you have 2 players on the same team doing historic things from 2 different positions that fit together utterly perfectly. Since James Harden returned from injury, the 76ers have the best record in the NBA at 34-11. Man, let's continue. Tyrese Maxey the past couple of games. I put out a video when I knew Maxey was about to get moved to the bench, and I put out a video titled, All of the Reasons You Should Not Move Tyrese Maxey to the Bench. And lo and behold, eye test Eastwood strikes again. Since Tyrese Maxey has returned to the Sixers starting lineup, he is averaging 22 points per game, 53.7% from three. He is shooting 100% from the free throw line. He hasn't missed a free throw since he came back into the starting lineup. He is a plus 44. And the Philadelphia 76ers are 6-1 since Tyrese Maxey came back into the starting lineup. Let's talk about backing up Joel Embiid. Paul Reed in the past couple of games. Paul Reed, since fully becoming the backup center, is a plus 57 when Embiid is on the bench. In that same time frame, the Sixers are 12-3. I think it's safe to say we found our backup center for now and for the future. That was at President Embiid on Twitter. Shout out to at President Embiid. That brings me to probably the only things that I'm worried about with this Philadelphia 76ers team, and it's the same thing I've been worried about. And look, Doc Rivers has been doing a great job. Doc Rivers, whether it's Doc Rivers or a collective of coaches, they've been doing a great job with the rotations. They've been doing a great job of really figuring out what works, using Jalen McDaniels in the right spots, using DeAnthony Melton in the right spots, using Paul Reed to back up Joel Embiid, which it'll still always be funny to me that it was obvious from last season that Paul Reed is the prototypical backup center for Joel Embiid. All you got to do is put him on the damn floor. And the Sixers are doing a good job, and the coaching staff is doing a good job. There was a tweet yesterday that, Doc Rivers said in, I think, the Washington Wizards postgame press conference that Paul Reed is gaining confidence and playing with more fluidity and more confidence and making less mistakes. And that's a result of him getting more playing time. Like Doc Rivers admitted that playing a young player more allows him to work out his mistakes. So this guy is just realizing what we already knew, what anybody with a functioning brain who's watched basketball for more than 5 minutes already knew. But the old stubborn dinosaur has to do things that we know you shouldn't do, fail, and then say, okay, this isn't working, now I'm going to do this. I used to have a boss that was kind of like Doc Rivers. Something wouldn't be working, and I would say, hey, I think we should do this because this isn't working. And he would say, no. I've done this for 25 years. This is what works. Let's just keep doing this. It's fine. It's going to be fine. This is what works. And then 6 weeks later, he would do exactly what I said we should have done 6 weeks before, but he would make it his idea. That is a fucking narcissist. That's what that is. And that's what Doc Rivers does. He won't do the right thing right away. He has to try his own way, fail, and then change it so it looks like it was his idea. But whatever it takes for us to get there. Okay? Dwayne Dedmon played the end of the Washington Wizards game, and that makes me nervous. It was garbage time. The game was over. It was a blowout. But the fact that Doc Rivers put Dwayne Dedmon on the floor to kind of test him out makes me nervous because I still think, let's not get too high here. Let's not forget how insane Doc Rivers is. I still think that when Paul Reed makes one mistake or has one bad quarter, Dwayne Dedmon is going to be in the game. And especially come playoff time. Don't forget, Paul Reed won all of the backup center minutes. He played all of the backup center minutes in the Toronto Raptors series last year. They won the series, and the very next series against the Miami Heat, Doc Rivers played DeAndre Jordan. This guy will always go with the veteran. That's still what makes me nervous. If he sticks with Paul Reed and sticks with the rotations that are currently happening, this team can compete for a championship. But I personally do not trust Doc Rivers to do that. You tell me what you think in the comments. Do you trust Doc Rivers to do that? Last thing I want to say is Joel Embiid is the MVP. It's clear as day. He's leading the league in scoring. He's doing something that only 3 other players in NBA history have ever done while also playing the defensive side of the floor. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo also plays offense and the defensive side of the floor, but I'm going to give Joel Embiid a hair edge in the MVP race there because he's averaging 33.4 points per game and it looks completely unstoppable on the floor. Nikola Jokic, he's number 5 for me right now, honestly. My MVP list right now is Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Domantas Sabonis, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic. But if you look at the advanced metrics, first of all, Nikola Jokic has the best defensive box plus minus of all time, which should completely rule out advanced stats in any argument for the history of ever. Nikola Jokic, who we are watching get smoked at the rim in the fourth quarter and lose to bad teams, has the best defensive box plus minus, the 5th best defensive box plus minus in the history of the game. That's how laughable advanced statistics are. Let me put it this way. If I work hard for 5 hours out of an 8-hour shift, and I don't get things done at the very end of the shift, and some projects don't get done, and my boss comes to me and says, hey, you've been tailing off at the end of the day. You haven't been completing these projects. Can I say to my boss, yeah, you're right, but if you take the average of how many hard hours I've worked and multiply it by the amount of hours I've worked over the course of the whole year and divide that by the amount that David has worked plus 0.45 divided by my lunch breaks, my value over replacement employee is the highest of all time, which makes me actually the best employee of all time, even though I have failed at the end of the days. Do you see how nonsensical that is? Fuck out of here. All right, look, here's an MVP ladder. Nikola Jokic. This makes advanced statistics funny also, okay? When it comes to the advanced metrics, Nikola Jokic is in first place by a landslide. Raptor, EPM win shares, BPM, and LeBron. I don't know what most of those mean, but he's number 1 by a long shot. This is why we must watch games. This is why we must put calculators down and watch games. Joel Embiid can conserve his energy for the fourth quarter. He can take first half. Sometimes he takes off. You can tell he does. But he starts going hard in that third quarter and starts going exceptionally hard, in that fourth quarter, and wins the game. His overall percentages of defensive, whatever fucking equation you want to throw out there throughout the whole game, is not the greatest of all time. But when you watch the game, he had an MVP performance and a game-saving block and a game-winning shot and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You see what I'm saying? You can't base everything on averages. You just got to watch games, bro. You just got to watch games, man. Here's a funny one to end this video. Nikola Jokic leads the league with 45 kickball violations. The player in second place has 17. In the words of Zach Lowe, it's his way of saying, I just don't feel like playing defense. It's smart, but we should not be allowing guys to karate kick the ball the whole game. That's all I got for today, man. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Thank you for anybody that commented on my Instagram post. You know what it is if you're a real one. And come by the Playback TV show tonight at 9 p.m. We're going to go through some film and talk about all of these things. And we'll watch the end of the Celtics game from last night where Jason Tatum blew a game-tying layup. We'll watch the end of the Bucks game from last night where the Bucks pulled it out against the Kings. Sabonis looks great. And Brook Lopez got into a fight and choked him and Trey Lyles choked each other out. That was fun. And we're going to go through the end of second half probably of a lot of Sixers games and look at some film and look at Maxey, look at Harden, look at Embiid, look at the whole nine, look at what Paul Reed looks like, all those things. Tonight at 9 p.m. on playback.tv/runitbackphilly. Be there. I'm out. Peace.